Again, welcome to the front, economic research team with St. Regis. And just out of respect for our presenters, you guys can please stay off your phones while we do this.
Is this like a good volume for you guys? Yes? Yeah, all right. Okay, I'm Madison Hill. And I'm Anna Sanford, and we were asked to present to you guys on the topic of economic research team. Now, economic research is a presentation event that encompasses an economic topic of the United States. Last year, it was national debt, and this year, it is NAFTA, or the North American Free Trade Agreement. Okay, so I guess most of you are probably familiar with how to present, and we're just going to kind of go through like the steps of how to do your paper and your presentation. So the first part is brainstorming. So this is where you're just going to get all your ideas down on paper and just kind of start forming your presentation. Make sure that your presentation, when you start forming it, that it's like a collaborative piece so you and your partner can work on it at the same time if you need to. We use Google Slides at first, so if we were at different places, we could work on it at the same time. And this is where you're going to start creating topics. So you're going to have a heading and then just start like researching different ideas that you can put under those headings, and it's a lot easier to organize. And when you're doing this research and you're on the internet, don't go to Wikipedia. That's not always a good source. Go to Google Scholar and search up journal articles by professors, because those are always probably the best sources that you can have. And when you're doing your research, take the link from the article and place it in a Google document so you don't lose that link for your works cited page. And when you're citing your sources, use MLA format, not APA. Okay, then you're going to start actually creating your rough draft. So this is where you're going to take the ideas that you had in your brainstorming, and you're going to start putting it into like a Word document. So you're going to probably keep those topics that you had in your brainstorming and put just like ideas that you had, and actually start forming sentences. So you're going to have your topic sentence, and then all of the text after the topic sentence is going to pertain to what the topic sentence was about, so that your paper is easier to read. So after you've made your first rough draft, you're going to revise it like maybe 5 or 6 times. So at the end, you've had like a 6th draft. And after you've done this, you're going to send it off to a few different people to read over it and read over your presentation to make sure it's good. And when they send it back to you, take their comments seriously, because if you think that one of their comments isn't so good and you ignore it, you might get docked because they might have an actual good point on their comments. Okay, probably the hardest part next is actually practicing your presentation and knowing what you wrote in your paper. So if you practice your presentation, say at the beginning of the year when you write your paper, and then you leave it for like 3 weeks, and you totally forget everything that you wrote in your paper. So make sure you're practicing at least once a week. That's what me and Anna did. We did probably like at least 60 hours between October and May we presented at Nationals. So as presentation day comes near, make sure you're practicing at least twice a week, and not just to your advisor too, that's important. Make sure that you have multiple audiences, so community members, you bring in your parents or other teachers so they can give you different feedback. And take their questions seriously too, so you're answering them effectively and not messing around in the presentation. Now when it actually comes time for you to give your presentation and you walk into the room and you set up your projector, don't stand there and stare at the floor and talk like this because nobody's going to understand you. You want to look up at the judges, make eye contact occasionally. Don't stare them down because that's creepy. But, so make eye contact, speak slowly, but not too slowly. Speak at an easy pace. It should be easy for them to understand you. Okay, and final recommendations that we have. One thing that really worked for Anna and I was to split the workload. So at first, Anna was working on the paper while I was doing the presentation, and she wrote probably 3 of the 6 pages for the paper, and I kind of did the presentation. And then we kind of switched. So then I was looking at what she wrote on the paper and was adding more to what she was writing, and she was looking at my presentation to make sure that I didn't misspell anything, or she was revising it to make sure it was okay. And also, don't procrastinate because it's going to bite your butt in the end. So make sure you're practicing continually throughout the weeks, and also to multiple audiences. And one last tip, when you're setting up for your presentation and you're standing there and you're setting up your projector, don't whisper to your teammate. The judges might think you're shy. If you need to talk to your teammate, just talk to them in a normal voice. The judges will think you're confident. That's about it. If you see us in the hallway and you have any questions, feel free to ask us.